Hey guys, Jim Bounds at Motorhome Rehab Ranch, and boy, we're getting action-packed here, aren't we? We're getting ready to talk about Electro-Level II. Ooh. It's a shame they only did it in '78, but they really had a great idea. Now, this is our beloved Electro-Level that we all know. And here's one of them right here. Lego. Here's one of them right here. Every one of these fittings could be a leaker. Every one of them. Every one of these air fittings. Every one of these. These are the connectors I was talking about. And every one of them is different. You can't get them off, but every one of them has two connections in it. So it had some problems. Now, the whole idea of going to the Electro-Level from the power level was to try to answer some problems, and it did. Okay, being all the way back there in the back, okay, it was quieter, and because of this little tiny tank right here, even if it had a leak, which if it had a leak, look at all that stuff. Even when it had a leak, how's that? The whole system could have no pressure in it as long as the end solenoids held the airbags up. Nobody knew about it until you turned it on. It just took an extra minute for the tank to go up. All right. At the time, 76, 77, all the engineers were going at it, and they were trying to make improvements, okay? And the Electro-Level, where is it? The Electro-Level II system was a huge improvement. Number one, it didn't have airlines running all over the place. It just had an airline going from there right to there. All right? And the system right here was real easy for folks to understand because it has two relays, two compressors. In other words, it had everything on one side was in one module, and everything on the other side was in another module. So if one side didn't work, well, all you did is replace that thing. You said, how did they do that? Well, take a look at this. Oh, where is it? Now, here's the compressor. It was an amazing thing because not only did you have the motor involved, you also had a single cylinder compressor directly to it, no belts, no problems with the compressor. On that, built into the head of the compressor was the exhaust solenoid. In other words, the down solenoid, right? So there wasn't an extra solenoid, extra fittings and all that stuff. It was all built into the head, yeah. It didn't have a tank for all those fittings to leak and all that stuff because it had an expansion tank. An expansion tank just holds a little bit of pressure and doesn't make it come on and off if it's looking for 1 pound. It'll hold a couple of pounds, but it's not an actual tank. It's just a small expansion tank. So with this motor, they solved so many problems. And in the diagnosis for the main, this was basically done for the mechanics, really, because the mechanic could diagnose, is it left, is it right? If it's left, you pull that whole assembly out. There were two on this metal plate right here. The reason I can't show you any of these, I don't have them like I do this Electro-Level, for probably the last decade, the Electro-Level system has not been supported because you can't buy this part. But I had one good friend in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, a retired engineer, had a 78, did a lot of work to it, and he liked the Electro-Level system because he understood the simplicity of it. So for the last decade, until we closed down, anything that came in that was an Electro-Level II, I just sent it to him, you know, to maintain his. Now, his coach this year sold, and the new owner is, I believe, in Massachusetts. And we're going to end up changing the system because there's not the guy to do it himself, and he did. The problem with this system is this compressor, anything wrong with the left side, you just take the left side out and change it. The right side, same thing. And the compressors and that whole assembly was used in Buicks and Cadillacs and all that stuff. They used 2 of them because, you know, needed more air pressure, more CFM. But this system, other than a small expansion tank, would be an on-demand system. What I mean by that is it does not have a supply, air supply sitting there waiting for the control system. No. If it wants to go up, the compressor on both sides, left and right, come on, and it goes up. The compressor is directly driven to the airbag. No tanks, no fittings, nothing go wrong there. To go down, there's a solenoid built in the head of that one, you know, the left side, that when you hit the down button, it kicks the solenoid and it drops it right there. One side, then the other side. So there's a solenoid on the left side, there's a drop solenoid on the right side, same as you had with those Skinner valves, with all this stuff, okay? Same thing. And the last valve in the line, remember I told you the shut-off valve, the last line of the thing, they still had that in there. They had a shut-off valve or a solenoid right there, okay? So this Electro-Level II system solved all the troubles that the mechanics had in troubleshooting, diagnosing, and repairing the system. And it was great, as long as that part is on the shelf. Now, they only made it for 1 year. Why? Well, when they came up with it, takes a year or more, maybe 2, just to come up with an idea and get it in production. So the engineers were working on this kind of stuff. They realized the problem when the power level system was out. So if you look at it, the Electro-Level system was a rudimentary, better idea using electrical from the power level. This is a better idea going forward, but only doing it in 1 year. They had already signed contracts and stuff for 1 year's worth of production. So what the hey, let's do it for 1 year and then we're out of it. That worked for them. It worked for us for about 7 years until those parts weren't available, okay? The Electro-Level II system solved a lot of problems. You see what I'm talking about. A lot of leaks, a lot of reliability, a lot of diagnosis if there was a problem, and repair. Didn't have to be real good at air systems because coming out of the expansion tank right here, the line went right into that down solenoid, and then from there it went right to the airbag. One airline, no problem. They could deal with that. So the mechanics were really, really happy to see this. And you didn't have that cute little compressor in there with the belt on it and some kid get his finger in it or something like that, you know. So it was a good system. It had its drawbacks. Now, on the next video, we're going to talk about power level, Electro-Level, and Electro-Level II systems, modifications, upgrades, things to look at on each one of them in the air system on it and the electrical system. what I've done up to this point is basically described it, how they work to good and bad points. Now, we're going to talk about the wiring and the plumbing. And then after that, I'm going to show you what I feel would be the best thing to have in the future. And there are other things available too, not just my idea, but there are a lot of other new ideas for the air ride system. And I'm going to show you some of those too, all right? Great. So this is the Electro-Level II. Didn't have any here to show you, but these pictures came benefit of the 77, 78 manual supplement and the 76 maintenance manual supplement. I got good pictures of the Electro-Level system in this. Look, I hope this helps a little bit. Stay tuned. We're going to get into the wiring and then a little more. Hit like and share and all that kind of stuff. If you think this has been valuable, become a ranch hand. I've seen several people have joined here recently. Thank you very much. It'll help us keep doing more. Great. All right. Get back out there and do something. We'll talk to you later. Bye.